God has created and designed us in a way that is so intentional. Every spot, every positioning of the parts of our bodies are very, very intentional by God. So you should think to yourself, it's not something that should be carelessly approached, because the creation, the order, the system, the design of sexual experiences is quite intentional and quite well designed by God for everybody to take with care and caution. Okay, another thing is, I came to also understand as I grew that the female genital is not open, it is closed. So there is need for breaking through a part called the hymen before sex can be experienced. It gives me an inkling that it is intentional, just like you bought something precious. It is packed, it is branded, it is designed, it is, wrapped. You have to break, you have to unravel, you have to. So it's an experience that actually two persons should enter innocently into, coming to understand what package is there. Now we have the crux. What do you say? Many people will say, no, I want to test the waters. Where do you fall? I want to know who is that man. I want to know what kind of experience I would keep having with him in marriage. But does it really, really have to be? Because it is an experience that persons should come into, two different persons should come into open-heartedly, understanding themselves gradually within it and making it the best that they have ever experienced. They don't have a past to it. They don't have an experience of how it feels somewhere else. They know only what their experiences are, only within that marriage. That is a very, very beautiful design that God has done to us. Good day wherever you are. Once again, welcome to Tibiba Spotlight, where we review books that are informative and transformative to you. Once again, my name is Emmanuel Aderoju Adeyemo. I'm your host at Tibiba Spotlight, and I'm the voice of Tibiba. Right, today we have another topic before us, and the topic is informed by the book at hand. Of course, books bring to you information, transformation, and they bring to you ideas that you should think about or consider and learn from. Right, today we are going to be talking about a topic that is informed by the book that we want to read and review. And this book is really, really, really interesting. The topic is also interesting. All right. I'll tell you a story. When we were younger, our parents always told us to be careful that there is something, there is something between our laps. Myself, my brothers, when we were very young. And so when we were growing, we call it very, very funny names. Sometimes you say Toto, sometimes you say Pim Pim. A lot of funny names, right? But then that was a way to avoiding some excesses in the kind of things we put to mind. However, these things are things we cannot do without talking about or learning about or getting to know about. So sometimes when we went to school and we see our friends talk about some things weird and some things that are beyond what we were made to be exposed to, we quickly go home and tell our parents and say, this, and this is, and this, and this, and that. And really, funny thing is, it makes us to see how precious that our body, our private parts were. We're very, very careful And so we grew up with parents who made us to have that sense of care. However, it also has a clause, let me say a punctuation of care, how you have to let children, young minds, especially teenagers, young adults, and gradually marriageable young ones to know and learn some things about sex. Right, today we are going to be talking about sex, and it's a topic that many persons want to talk about and many don't want to talk about because the experiences are different, the realities are different, the challenges are different, the knowledge is different, and also the approach is different. So what do you think? What have your parents made you to learn, your guardians, or the society where you grew from? What have they all made you to learn about sex or to think about sex? Of course, today we have a book that approaches it in a very, very beautiful way. And here is our book for review. Today we are going to be considering Sizzling Intimacy and Sex in Marriage. But before we go into marriage, let's talk about the fact that this book is a detailed account of what singles should know and what the married should know. I started by telling a childhood story to insinuate that there are ways that the society, our beliefs, our parents make us to scare away from some things and make us to, revere them. Not necessarily that they want us to be oblivious of those things that are human behavior, human realities like sex especially, but it is the fact that they want us to enter into that knowledge when it is actually ripe. According to the book of Proverbs, I beg you, daughters of Zion, with the does in the valley, that you should not arouse love when it doesn't show desire. So it is necessary to know when to talk about this and who to talk about this and what understanding you need to have about this. However, this book at hand helps us to understand sex in a way that the young adults, the singles, the marriageable youths, and even the married should really, really approach and understand sex. Knowledge is good for you. It is necessary for us, and it changes our mindset, and it gives us good approach to life. Of course, I would say ahead that this discussion is for people who, should I categorize us into, some who are some who believe in sexual purity, no sex before marriage, or probably some persons who, by the virtue of the lack of understanding at some point or the errors that are particular to human life, they have made mistakes or they have had wrong approach to sexual realities, and then they have turned a new leaf. Now they want to live a life of purposeful sexuality. This is what this book will help us to understand better. This information is for this kind of persons, and of course everybody is encouraged to rather be one of these, or probably people who are now married and want to really avoid broken homes because of things that pertain to sex. It is beyond just the intercourse. It is relationship. It is communication of love. It is intentionality. It is care. It is enjoyment. It is intentional. Yeah, like I told you my childhood story briefly, I got to later learn as I grew that God is so amazing. Why did he have to keep the human private part in a place so secluded as the space between the laps? I don't want to be carnal, but I want to be as sincere as possible. What do you think? Why does it have to be in a secluded place, not somewhere, not somewhere on every side? Well, we have to be careful dealing with this topic, right? But the human body is so sensitive, and God has created and designed us in a way that is so intentional. Every spot, every positioning of the parts of our bodies are very, very intentional by God. So you should think to yourself, it's not something that should be carelessly approached, because the creation, the order, the system, the design of sexual experiences is quite intentional and quite well designed by God for everybody to take with care and caution. Okay, another thing is, I came to also understand as I grew that the female, the female genitals, that the female genital is not open, it is closed. So there is need for breaking through a part called the hymen before sex can be experienced. It gives me an inkling that it is intentional, just like you bought something precious. It is packed, it is branded, it is designed, it is, wrapped. You have to break, you have to unravel, you have to. So it's an experience that actually two persons should enter innocently into, coming to understand what package is there. Now we have the crux. What do you say? Many people will say, no, I want to test the waters. Where do you fall? I want to know who is that man. I want to know what kind of experience I would keep having with him in marriage. But does it really have to be? Because it is an experience that persons should come into, two different persons should come into open-heartedly, understanding themselves gradually within it and making it the best that they have ever experienced. They don't have a past to it. They don't have an experience of how it feels somewhere else. They know only what their experiences and they know only what their experiences are only within that marriage. That is a very beautiful design that God has done to us as humans. However, let us come to the book that we have at hand. It helps us to clarify all our questions about sex in marriage. All right, some questions that should come to heart while you approach this book is: what singles need to know in preparation for romance and sex in marriage? First time sex as a couple, and I will learn from it. Personally, I really want to hear from these couples that have put this book together. Don't forget, we have not introduced the author. What new couples should do to enjoy sex and romance in an amazing way? Challenges that new couples may face about sex and romance. How to give your spouse mind-blowing orgasm that makes them ask for more. Sex during pregnancy and after delivery. These are topics that are very significant. How to connect with your spouse through everyday intimate acts. All right. Someone said sex is not the activity that happens in the bed. It is an activity that started off far before the bed. That is deep. But then I think it is thoughtful too. You understand better in this book how to maximize intimate talking time and physical touches in marriage. I like the fact that there is consistency with the use of in marriage. Tested techniques of delaying. I want you to see what is delayed. All right, these authors are amazing authors, a couple coming together and bringing out this amazing book with a clear experience that they have had and also counseling many persons over the years. Sunday Anani are a very beautiful marriage couple who have imparted upon many lives with the knowledge of God and also with their explosive experiences across everything that has to do with building good family, building good home, sustaining wonderful and godly marriages, and also helping young minds to navigate through the questions of life. So this book is what I will recommend every time and every time again when you come across the topic of sex and marriage. All right, let me give you a snippet into the book. Come with me to, page 110. Or let me, I want to give you a topic. Let me quickly give you a very beautiful snippet from here. One of the common experiences that new couples face, particularly on the side of the man, as they start exploring sex, is a problem of what is the greatest problem that a man experiences in marriage, in sexual experience with their wife. I don't want to really say everything about this book, but this book, I tell you, takes individual topics and treats them clearly well, without mincing words, without trying to be um, mild about them, but with very good guidance into the perfect arrangement of God for marriage and sexuality. I would have really said so much, but I want you to pick this book up and read, because it's going to really open your mind and give you understanding. And for one, it is going to prepare your mind and allow for you to do the right thing, put yourself in the right position even before marriage. This is what will sustain many homes, and this is equally what will really break many homes. It is surprising how many people don't take it for a significant topic to talk about, because when we get there, and because they have all been celibate before they go marriage, they think it is just a bed of roses. No, it needs information. And some who have gone wild and weird about it thought also to themselves, or think also to themselves, that, oh, it is this, it is this, it is this, not knowing what it is like for the next person, because it takes two to come together. All right, one other very powerful topic I see in this book that is treated is the topic of pornography and masturbation. It is not advised within marriage. It is not advised before, because it will, most often than not, break a marriage. If you started it outside marriage, it would also break them 99% of the times. It will break the marriage within the marriage. So why don't you get knowledge of the things and how they run and how they should be for your body? It is not only for you, it is for your life, for the plan of God, for your marriage, and you will be happy you did. I don't want to say too much about this book. When you're ready to get a copy, look up for Sunday Anani on Facebook, on Instagram, on or any social media handle. You will find him imparting lives, and you can call for your copy. And of course, you can reach out to us at Tibiba. For one, I'm telling you, Tibiba has done justice to this book publishing. It's a very beautiful design that commands your attention to read. And when you open, you'd enjoy the cream pages, all designed with significant, structure, significant bookmarking, and all of the necessary things that make it interesting to keep reading and never wanting to drop. All right, this book is something you should pick up now and start reading. And when you're ready to read, call out for us at Tebiba. Till I see you again on this review of books at Tebiba, my name is Emmanuel Aderoju Adeyemo. Hi, I'm the voice of Tebiba.